There are people living today in 2016 who honestly believe that the Earth is flat. Now the thing is, those people are allowed to have that opinion. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. But that doesn't mean that that opinion is valid or that it should be a part of our modern discourse. Because I think we can all accept, or at least most of us, that the Earth is not flat. The Earth is round. We live in a solar system. We orbit around the sun. And these are just basic facts that we have to accept because we know them to be true because there's a lot of scientific evidence.
Okay, so far I'm kind of agreeing with you on it. You know, I still think people should be able to voice their ideas and their theories and their opinions, but sure, I'm getting where you're coming from so far.
But like with most things, it's a theory. It's a very well accepted theory, but it's a theory nonetheless, like the theory of gravity, which I think we all pretty much accept as fact at this point, but it's still a theory. But flat earthers have their own theory, and they have their own ways of explaining away our scientific evidence to suit their agenda. The reason I bring this up is because I think it's a really obvious example that we can all think about and conceptualize. Like, we all know that the Earth is round, and we can all laugh about how ridiculous it is that there's still a group of people that believe the Earth is flat. So I think we would also agree that it would be very ridiculous to have a debate in today's day and age with a round earther and a flat earther, and to have them present their evidence and like make an argument for it and make a big spectacle out of it.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know. I mean, we still have religion debates, and I think they're as ridiculous as the debates you're proposing, but we still have them. We still watch them. The premise is still the same. They're arguing over the opinions and not looking over scientific fact, or at least not agreeing with scientific facts. But I find that a flat earth argument is as ridiculous as I was created by a big bearded sky daddy argument.
That would be false balance. That would be pretending that these two sides have equal weight and we have to talk about both if we're going to talk about one. And I think there are a lot of people who, in totally different situations, will say that there should always be a compromise, that you can always be in the center of something and find a common ground between people. But
right, that's called having nuance. That's called having empathy. It's looking at both sides of the argument, finding the good and bad things about them.
But there's no common ground between people who believe the Earth is round and people who believe the Earth is flat. There's no compromise where the Earth is like a puffy pancake that's like in between being round and flat. You can't have these two people come together and argue and try to reach some sort of compromise where they can agree that both of them have valid points, because one of them has valid points and scientific evidence and the other does not. They just made it up.
Well, I mean, you can, but yeah, I mean, at the end it might be pointless, or at the end of the day one might reach a different conclusion about the topic. You never really know. The thing is, at least with me, is that just because someone might have a different belief or a ridiculous worldview, I still think it's valid to hear them out, to try and understand why they've reached this conclusion, to this consensus. Having this type of platform, we kind of need to hear what others think on topics, regardless of it being ridiculous or not. Regardless of what the topic is, you're gonna have people who spout off ridiculous statements now and then. But for me, I'm more curious as to why they came to this conclusion, kind of pick apart their brain and try to understand where they're coming from.
And this applies, surprise, surprise, to a lot of other stuff going on in our world, socially and politically. Let's take climate change, for example. There is a ton of scientific evidence for climate change, and yet there are still people who deny it, and we're supposed to treat them like they have a valid argument, but they don't, because the science is in, and we know that climate change is happening, and that it's caused by humans.
I don't think anyone's telling us that it needs to necessarily be a valid opinion. For example, your arguments, Riley, that I've made videos about in the past, I've never thought they were valid opinions. But I responded to them anyway, regardless of if I thought they were ridiculous or untrue, which I still believe they are. But I'm going to listen to what you have to say and retort to the best of my abilities. I'm not just going to ignore you because I think you're wrong, or if the facts say you're wrong.
So if someone says that climate change is not happening and humans are definitely not causing it, they don't have a valid opinion. They're just wrong. There's no compromise between it is and isn't happening. It's just, it's happening and we have to do something about it. And it's a very damaging opinion to just deny facts and deny that climate change is real. There's also vaccinations. Like, vaccinations are a very good thing that do not cause autism and that help people stay healthy.
Again, I agree. However, saying no one should be able to retort that or have any say about it, I think it's going a little overboard on it. The thing is, if you want people to believe that, to listen to the facts and listen to the arguments, you have to debate them on this. To at least attempt to try and sway them to your side of thinking.
Anti-vaxxers do not get a say here because they are wrong. They make claims that are based on false evidence. There's no like, oh, maybe we should kind of look into vaccines. No, they're just wrong. They do not cause autism. There are not problems with them. They make us healthier. They save a lot of people. vaccines are good. End of story. And of course, there are always going to be topics where both sides have good points and where we do need to find compromise. But there's a lot of situations where that's not happening and we pretend like it's happening. And I feel like that especially happens in politics. Like people who consider themselves politically in the center feel like they're right just because they're in the center.
Now see, here we go in the video where you're going to be kind of wrong about some stuff. The things you listed in the beginning of the video were arguments involving science, which I understand. However, Riley, when it comes to politics, there's a lot of wiggle room here for further discussion. I'm in a political middle ground myself because if we look at both of our main parties, Democrats and Republicans, we find both to be different, but at the core, they're the same. We can look at both and see one isn't better than the other. Both have problems. Both suck. They both have their benefits, sure, but at the end of the day, they're one and the same. So I would say when it at least comes to politics, there's no lines drawn in the sand with everything.
They see themselves as the compromise of the left and the right. They see themselves as taking the good from the left and the good from the right and rejecting the bad from the left and the bad from the right, and they are the perfect compromise.
Well, I mean, I don't reject the bad shit is the thing. People need to recognize the bad shit in everything, especially in politics. But you have to look at the good as well. You have to look at what works, what doesn't work, what needs to be tinkered, what needs to be worked on, and so many other things that involve this type of topic. No one's saying they're 100% right, it's just another position on the matter. You can't just have a black and white outlook on shit like this. You have to find some middle ground. You have to find some nuance. Because at the end of the day, sure, people will still have their opinion regardless of what you say. However, if you just make one person rethink their position, or maybe look at different perspectives or understand there are more than just left and right, isn't that a good thing? Isn't that what people like you and I should be trying to accomplish with our platforms?
But that's just not how it works. Like, being in the middle of two arbitrary points doesn't automatically make you right. The compromise is not always a good thing. On one side, we have people saying that LGBT plus people deserve respect, should be treated equally under the law, and should be protected from discrimination. And on the other side, we have people saying that LGBT plus people should be denied their basic human rights and not be treated equally under the law.
And here we go. Okay, couple of things. First, that's an arbitrary argument from your point. It's very black and white saying on this side is people who like LGBTQ plus people, and on the other side is people who hate them. That's not the main argument. That's not the main topic. Look, I respect the LGBTQ plus community, and they should be respected and treated equally. However, just because you're part of this community doesn't mean I have to agree with every point you have or be on your side on every single issue. That's the premise you and your ilk always give. Second, these are drastic changes of issues than your examples at the beginning of the video. You're comparing two different things here. The argument that the world is round versus being flat to LGBTQ plus people deserve these rights versus not giving these rights is such a leap, it's mind-boggling to me. When it comes to these issues, it's good to get multiple perspectives and other ideas than painting it with such a broad brush.
These are not equal stances. We do not get to find compromise between those. When we're talking about our humanity and our rights, we have a right to fight for those in their entirety, not in pieces as we compromise. There is no compromising on our basic human rights.
But see, basic human rights, like, which are you talking about? Like, okay, for me, I think I should have the basic human right to whatever drug I want. To alcohol, to weed, to even heavier drugs like cocaine or meth. I feel like if someone wants it, they should be allowed to get it because they're going to get it either way regardless of if it's illegal or not. But I know plenty of people who would say I'm wrong, and this is why I think you're wrong. According to you, I'm just supposed to ignore them and be like, no, you're wrong, this is a basic human right, fuck off. Like, I'm not understanding your position here, Riley, I'm really not. What basic human rights is being denied to you right now, in 2017?
And I know we're always talking about how divided we've become as a country and how partisan, but I don't think the answer is reaching across the aisle and shaking hands with a Nazi, because that's exactly what this new administration is being filled with. Trump's cabinet is already full of white nationalists. These are people who are open openly misogynistic and anti-Semitic, and they use the term alt-right to make them sound like some sort of kooky, quirky, new age right-wing group.
Oh god, more of this alt-right bullshit. I mean, look, like, wouldn't it be a good thing if these two positions came together and came to a compromise instead of just fighting each other and nothing being done? Because you need to have some compromise when it comes to tackling issues like this, otherwise you get two sides arguing, getting nothing done, and being put back to square one. Like, I'd rather be shaking the hand of a Nazi than him and I trying to fight or murder each other over our ideas. And I like how you use a Nazi as your example as if Nazis are a huge common occurrence in our fucking country. See, to me, that shows you're not being completely forthcoming in this argument.
There's a reason the KKK is in the streets parading and celebrating Trump's victory. It's because his ideology lines up with the ideology of the KKK. The alt-right people he surrounds himself with are modern-day neo-Nazis.
Okay, so once again you're going to draw the false dichotomy bullshit of, well, the KKK supports Trump, therefore Trump's as bad as the KKK, their ideas are the same. No, causation does not equal correlation on this. You can't help who follows you or who supports you. It could be a variety of reasons why they support him. Trump, compared to the other Republican candidates, was the best choice. He's much more liberal compared to people like Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush. Is he stupid? Yes. Should he be president? No. But he hasn't even been inaugurated into office yet, and everyone's already crying and moaning on how terrible he is. Wait till he does things before declaring him the scourge of America. But people like you making this KKK comparison is ridiculous. We've heard it time and time and time again. It's been refuted time and time again. Please move forward.
So I don't think that's a thing we should compromise with. I don't think we should compromise with white nationalists and Nazis.
Yeah, white nationalists and neo-Nazis, because I'm sure they label themselves that and display it for many people to see and know. See, this is my problem. You're not stating facts. You're stating your opinion as if it were fact, but it isn't. So this argument, especially coming from you, Riley, is a fucking joke. All you're doing at this point is spreading misinformation, the very thing you were complaining about people doing in the fucking beginning of this video.
But I've already made a whole video about how we shouldn't normalize Trump's white nationalism, so let's go back to talking about other things. I just can't get my mind off the election and all of that, you know. So there's a lot of other areas where we could talk about false balance and compromise and stuff, but I've been running into this a lot lately with my own channel. Because people tweet me or comment on my videos or something saying, you won't debate this idea, it's because you're afraid you're gonna lose. That's not how that works. That's not a logical conclusion to come to when someone doesn't want to debate you. There's like 1.5 million reasons someone might not want to debate you, but one of those might be you just don't have a valid viewpoint and you're not worthy of being debated.
Oh, what? Excuse me?
And you're not worthy of being debated.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Yeah, not worthy, huh? Oh, you people aren't worthy to debate the great Riley Dennis. Get the fuck out of here. That's just an excuse for you not wanting to expand the topic that you're talking about because you just want to sit behind your computer, say what you want to say, and not have people question your viewpoints. I mean, how do you deem someone not worthy or having a valid viewpoint? That's just your perspective. That's just your opinion. You just don't get to declare someone's opinion invalid or not. I'm sorry, that's not up to you to decide. And that's not up to me to decide.
You are the flat earther of whatever your topic is. Like, there are people to this day who don't believe that homosexuality is real. They just don't think you can be gay. And I don't think we should give those people a debate. There's so many resources out there. That debate has been had. We recognize that being gay is a real thing. I'm not going to waste my time debating someone like that.
Then why bother talking about these topics then if you don't want or accept any retort? Like, don't you want to know why this person reached this conclusion? Don't you want to understand how it is they think, why they think that way, and try to convince them and show them that they were wrong, or why they should open their mind to different possibilities? No, you just want to dismiss them as a lost cause. They're not worthy, they're stupid, I'm above that. I don't need to waste my time. To me, that's just an excuse for you not participating in debates. I know plenty of people who have responded to you with different ideas and opinions and viewpoints that do hold water, that should be talked about, yet you dismiss them. What about them? What about their opinions? Do they just not count?
And the same thing goes for transgender issues. Like, if someone just doesn't believe that being trans is a real thing, there's probably nothing I could say at this point to convince them, and a debate would just be pointless. You know, like there's no point in having a debate with someone who's rejected all logic and reason. There's no reason for me to debate a flat earther because I'm never going to convince them. No matter what evidence I have, I won't convince them that I'm right and they're wrong. And it's the same thing with people who don't believe that being transgender is real. No matter what I say, no matter what evidence I present, they're going to be in their opinion. They just want someone to yell about it to.
But how do you know that with 100% certainty? How can you declare it so when you haven't even tried to debate someone on it? Flat earthers are different than someone who doesn't think trans people don't exist. Or better yet, how about someone who doesn't believe in multiple genders? Should they be dismissed too? According to you, yes they should. See, it's like you don't give a fuck. That's my problem with this. There's no nuance here. There's no middle ground. You're either a Jedi or you're a Sith. You can't be a gray Jedi. No. Only Sith or Jedi.
And I don't have to be that platform for ignorant people to yell their ignorant things. Of course, I think it's important to educate people. And if I feel like someone is genuinely asking questions and genuinely wants to know something, I don't have a problem talking and explaining things. But when it's someone who clearly has an agenda and all they want to do is yell about how you're wrong and they're not actually going to listen to you, then there's no point in having a debate.
But that's also applicable to you, Riley. Are you going to sit here and tell us you have no agenda? Really? None whatsoever? Again, you're not the one to be telling us this. It'd be like Onision telling us, hey guys, don't start drama. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, Riley, is it a strange cognitive dissonance to be a person advocating for the most part, pretty open-minded things, but to act closed-minded at the same time? Is that strange? Is that weird for you?
And again, there's no compromise between people who think that being transgender is real and people who don't. It's not like we can be kind of real, we just are. And yes, those people need to be educated, but if they refuse to be educated, there's nothing you can do about that, and a debate is pointless, and you're not going to find compromise. So, I don't know, this video kind of jumped all over the place, but there was a lot of points in there, and I hope you took notes.
Yeah, it's what we call a script, Riley. It's a thing you write down to make sure you can jot down notes and points when making a video, not go in 5 different directions in a 6-minute video.
I just had a lot of feelings about this recently because it applies to so many things in life, so I just needed to talk about it. I hope this can be helpful to you in some way. I hope you don't feel like you have to debate every single ignorant person in the world.
Well, it wasn't really helpful, Riley. Look, I understand that there are a few things that are set in stone and are pretty self-explanatory. However, it's important that we talk to other people, debate on different topics, and come to compromises, or to try and have the people who are more closed-minded become open-minded. Because that's how progress is made. If we didn't have debates over things, including stupid things like the world being flat, there would probably be more people thinking the earth is flat. But like Riley said, I don't know. That's a good way to sum up this whole thing. I don't know, this is a pretty middle of the road argument, and taking a drastic stance on it isn't the best way to look at it in my opinion, but that's just me. That's just me, of course. I can understand why people would think Riley would be right in this issue. I can understand people thinking I'm right in this issue, or I can see people being like, well, you're both right, you're both wrong, and coming to their own compromise. And I think that's kind of the point, is that at the end of the day, it's about what you think. Because, I mean, I kind of look at this as being like, I'm not 100% completely right. Riley's not 100% completely wrong, but at the end of the day, it's up to a lot of other people to decide. I encourage people to share their opinions regardless of what their ideas might be. I think it's important. I think it's healthy for everybody to discuss their ideas, their topics, no matter what. But hey, again, that's just me. Thanks to everyone for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers. That's an insane number. Welcome, my new people, to my channel. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you've all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the Q&A video, which will be my next video. So, goodbye! Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Oh, yeah, I guess I forgot to mention I have a Patreon now. Oops, I guess I forgot to announce that. The link is in the description if you guys want to go check out the page. But anyways, thank you for supporting me.